What's up, guys, and welcome back to Heel Report, which is part of TarHeel247.com. I'm Jacob Turner. He's our very own publisher, Andrew Jones. And AJ, we're here for a quick UNC basketball daily drop. I'm using the word quick, AJ. I'm holding us accountable early, even though I've already derailed this podcast within the first 10 seconds. So that's hand up on me. But I want to state it out there for people. We will not go more than 20 minutes on this. I won't let it happen, AJ. I'll hit end record if we get to 1958. I'll just the podcast drop out.
Full disclosure, we just spent 47 minutes talking about football.
We did just spend. We recorded this Sunday around like 1 o'clock. So yeah, a lot of the topics have been football.
Yeah, we were honestly, it would have been a great podcast, but we probably can't put it out there. So we would have put it out there.
Yeah, I wouldn't have put it out there.
It was very interesting stuff we were talking about.
Might have ruffled some feathers. Maybe we'll talk about some of the stuff later this week in the football show when we do the Duke preview portion for that one. Stay tuned. That's a little stay tuned for that one. But we got to get back on script if we're getting out of here in 20 minutes. AJ, we're here to talk Carolina basketball, more specifically Kion Evans, point guard for North Carolina, and just talking about kind of his season so far. I know it's only 4 games in, but I do think there are some things that you can point at so far that are at least positive signs moving into the rest of the season. In particular, I think the biggest thing has been his assist. I mean, averaging 5 assists on the season right now, leads the team. Assist to turnover ratio of 3 right now, 2.9, but basically 3. 20 assists on the season, just 7 turnovers. Also shooting the ball at a pretty high clip so far, 52% from the floor, 41% from three-point land. So, AJ, I think there's a lot to like about what we've seen from him, albeit 4 games in, with 3 of those teams, maybe besides Radford, who I think has the potential to be an NCAA tournament team, 3 of those teams coming against lesser competition that Carolina should be beating. But I do think, again, there are a lot of positive things that we can at least point at and say, okay, this has been good so far. Let's see how this continues into the rest of the season, especially, over the next few weeks when they start playing some bigger opponents in the non-conference. So I want you to take us back, though, AJ, because we were talking about this off camera when we were texting earlier about a topic to potentially do. And you were talking about him working out and doing some stuff before the Central game with Marcus Paige, who's obviously a former point guard and assistant on the staff right now. So take us back to what you saw there, and then we'll kind of let that facilitate into the general conversation about Evans's play so far this season.
Yeah, well, first of all, before I do that, I'm in a holding pattern with him, and I think that we should all be in a holding pattern in terms of kind of making any kind of proclamations. It's going to take some time. You and I love the P word, the process word. I think that there's a process with 3 guys in particular on this team, Kyan, Luka, and Jonathan Powell. I think all are very much in the midst of a process, personal process, which is part of their team process. But what I saw there tonight was I went down, I was going to court before on the sideline before all games, shoot warm-up photos and just get a feel for it and talk to some fans, that kind of thing. And when I went out there, Kyan was really getting in a good workout with Marcus. And I'm telling you, man, he has got a really pretty shot. He's got nice rotation. It's a nice, smooth, clean shot. And he was stroking. He catches the ball and goes up. Everything about what he does is very well schooled. You can tell he's been coached well, and he's been very dedicated to the drills. He can score more than he has, and I don't think he's too concerned about that right now. He's in the process right now of learning how to manage. And the workout with Marcus that I saw was more shooting the ball, catch and shoot stuff, because he's going to be a point guard, or I would call him a lead guard, not really a point guard, who's going to be in catch and shoot mode, because I think one of the strengths of this team is the ball doesn't have to stick with anybody. So you get rid of it and the ball can find you again. But you got to keep moving. You got to stay open. You got to be ready. And I think this team is across the board. Everyone's readiness to get the ball and do something with it is one of their attributes as well. And I think with Kyan, that's something he's learning how to do, because sometimes he gets the ball and he's not 100% sure whether to get the offense going, whether to dribble, whether to show. I mean, sometimes you can see there's a little indecision with him, which is fine, because he's learning how to run this group. Last year at Colorado State, he was on top of the ball, but a lot of times Nick Clifford would get it and he'd move off. So he's asked to do there's more on his plate. I talked to Seth Trimble about this before Seth's injury, about how much is on Kyan's plate. And Seth says, yeah, he's got on his plate. It's a little bit different, but we're here to help him. We're here to make him better. And that's part of it. I think the guys that are around him can make him better, make the job easier. So some of his assists are swinging the ball assists. Some of his assists are entries. He had the one to Henry, I think it was against Radford, where Kyan appeared to shoot the ball, but was really throwing a high lob, like a high line drive lob to Henry, who grabbed it and rammed it home. I think he's got good synergy with Henry and a couple other guys, and I think that will continue to pick up. One of the things I really like about him and having some conversations that he's like a massive sponge. Mm-hmm. He's trying to learn. He understands that there's something extra that comes with being in that position at North Carolina than for most other schools, and certainly where he was. He's playing with a lot of talent, and he'll tell you, look, I played with a lot of talent at Colorado State, and they were good. Mm-hmm. Colorado State was better than North Carolina last year. I guarantee you that. And so, but he's playing with a higher end of talent now. This Carolina team obviously is more talented than last year's. And he's also trying to be more of a facilitator and a manager. It takes time. They're only 4 games in, 2 exhibition games. 2 of them didn't have Luka. So I think with him, I think Carolina fans should be pretty pleased where he is. I would not make proclamations on Kyan just yet. I do see where there's some parts of his game that make you wonder, okay, how good can he be in those areas? I still wonder how good he can be defensively. Mm-hmm. How good is he going to be dealing with ball screens? He's thin. He's not super strong. But if you've got Seth when he comes back and Jaren defending on the wings, I think you can hide Kyan a little bit defensively if you need to. Although he graded out pretty well last year. But so far, I think we've seen so many really good defensive sequences and individual stuff from different Tar Heels that we're kind of in a mode waiting to see when Kyan catches up. I mean, he'll probably have his game or two where you look and say, okay, well, he's kind of with those other guys. Not 100% sure he's there yet because I think his pace and his pattern is a very different place than some of the other guys. Mm-hmm. And it's moving along, Jacob. But I think when you watch him play, let's say when they go to California and they play Stanford and Cal into the middle of January, I'll be very interested to see how different Kyan's game looks then than it has to these first 4. I think it will look bouncier. I think it will look more decisive. I think he'll look more athletic. I think he'll be a little bit better defensively. And I don't think this team's going to switch a whole lot, so that's probably something he needs to get used to as well. I don't know if they did that or not at Colorado State. I should ask him. But I kind of like the direction it's going, but it is a direction, and it's going to take a little bit of time.
Yeah, it's a direction for sure. And I think one of the reasons we wanted to do this is one of the question marks we had about this team. We talked about a lot in the offseason, AJ, was what does this lead guard position look like? You got a guy like Kion Evans who, I mean, I remember you guys talked to him in the offseason, and I think someone asked him to kind of like describe his game, and he's like, I like to score.
I asked him that, and I said, give me a scouting report.
It's like, okay, that's great, and that's fine. But I think when you look at this team and the makeup of it, when you've got a elite scorer as a freshman like Caleb Wilson, you've got a Henry Vasar who can put the ball in the basket and needs touches and deserves touches. You have a guy like Luka in the fold now who I think we've only seen a small percentage of what he can do, especially scoring the ball, but we have seen it in glimpses. You've also got other guys coming off the bench like a Jonathan Powell, Jaron Stevenson, has been able to put the ball in the basket. So you've got guys in a lot of different positions, especially in the starting 5 that need touches and they can score the ball. And I think when you've got a point guard that's kind of saying, hey, guys, I like to score. It's kind of what I like to do. And you look at his stat lines at Colorado, and again, was a guy that I think at Colorado last season only averaged about 3 assists per game. You're looking at it and saying, okay, how does this fit with what this team has? Because a lot of guys on this roster that need touches and can put the ball in the basket where you need a point guard who's playing with his head up. And I think so far through 4 games, AJ, that is one of the things that is one of the more positive signs that I've seen from him is he is playing with his head up a lot more than I thought he might. And because of that, you're seeing his assist numbers be what they are. And I also think the Kansas game in a weird way, AJ, he was poor in the first half. We talked about it on 3 things afterwards. He looked like a mountain. They were all poor, you're right. But he looked in particular, I think you even said it, like a Mountain West point guard in the first half, where there was concerns about what is this going to do? This was the best team Carolina's played so far this season. But I thought in the second half, his game improved, and it coincided with Carolina playing a lot better. And I thought that was a positive sign because, again, we know how important the point guard position is for a program like North Carolina. No matter if it's Hubert Davis at the helm or Roy Williams at the helm, it doesn't matter. The point guard position is absolutely crucial at this university. And I think there are positive signs so far with him, especially with his assist numbers, to say, okay, we're not making any judgments here because we're only 4 games in, and the only top 25 team Carolina's played so far this season is Kansas. There are a lot tougher games ahead for the Tar Heels. But I think you can look at his game and say, okay, these assist numbers are a positive sign. Him playing with his head up is a positive sign. And if he can continue this trend and continue to improve, then I think he can be a really good point guard for the Tar Heels or a league guard for the Tar Heels this year. But they're all right. You're all right. There are question marks still. What is this? What is he defensively? I think that's kind of a microcosm of the whole team, AJ. One thing we have talked about with this team, it is not the most brawny team in the world. So when they come up against maybe an experienced physical outlet that's going to try to maybe exploit Carolina in that realm, how does he and other players on the roster kind of respond to that? Again, we're still so early in the season that there are a lot of question marks, but I have been overall through 4 games, and I think this is kind of the gist of the podcast. I have been more impressed with Kion Evans than I have been looking at him and saying, I don't know if this is going to work. And I think that is a positive thing so far, at least.
Yeah, the brawny team aspect will be the kind of screens that they can set, ball screens they can set, and how he's going to deal with it. Like if they force Carolina to switch a lot because of Kyan, then I think you lose something from Seth and Jaren in some ways. Although Seth can guard 1 through 4. I think Jaren can guard 1 through 5. So if you're going to switch, they're really good players to switch with. But I think they're so good that Hubert would love to just be able to keep them on their guy and not have to switch. So that'll be very interesting. One of the things I think that has impressed me an awful lot about Kyan so far is his response to my question when I said, give us a scouting report. He says, I'm a scorer.
Yeah.
But he also said in the same conversation that he's working on being a point guard. So what have we seen to the first 4 games? We haven't seen a guy who says, I'm a scorer. We've seen a guy who's saying, I'm trying to learn how to manage the game. I'm trying to become a point guard. That's what I'm working on right now. And they don't need him to be a big scorer. He's going to need to score at times. And I think he'll be able to down the road. But how he performs for this team, his greatest value and worth to this team is going to be how he runs it, how he manages it. And if he could score off of that, that's great stuff. That's fantastic. I'd like to see a 3 a game from him. I think that he's certainly capable of doing more than that. But is he capable of doing more than that and running the show when he's usually going to have at least 3 scorers on the floor? You got Caleb, and you've got Henry, and you've got Luka, for example. You got 3 guys who could be high volume scorers. When Seth is out there, you got another guy who can get into the high teens, and he's just scoring. You got to let him drive. You got to stay out of the way, let him drive, that kind of thing. Swing it and let him go. You got Jaren out there. I think Jaren's going to be a guy over time that proves to be someone who could pop off every once in a while. When there are nights that Jaren needs to give you 15, I think he can give you 15 sometimes. I think there are nights he's going to go 5. He gives you 5. But, man, the floor game is going to be A+.
Yeah.
So Kyan's learning how to work with all that. And I think that's what makes this team so intriguing, because I truly believe that as good as they've looked in stretches, that those are just stretches. There's so much more to come from this group. This period with Seth out, I think the guy who's got the most to gain, the most to lose is Jonathan Powell.
Yeah.
Most to lose because if he doesn't perform well, Hubert's going to know because he's getting extra minutes. The most to gain for the complete same reason, because he's playing extra minutes. He did some stuff the other night. They gave us Jonathan after the game. They gave us Derek Dixon. I thought it was very wise what they did. I understood what they were doing there and giving us those guys. So Kyan is someone who's going to be in that role all year. I don't know if in time Luka's on the ball more and maybe Kyan doesn't play as much. Not because Kyan isn't worthy of being on the floor, but if you think about what would be Carolina's best closing lineup in a close game, right now with Seth healthy, you're talking about the starting 5 of Kyan, Seth, Jaren, Caleb, and Henry. But if you swap out Kyan and put in Luka, is that a better lineup? I think it's pretty easy to say it's a better lineup because Luka, pretty good player, but that also means Luka's at the point. He'd be at the point, not Seth. Luka said the other night he's a point guard. He thinks he's a point guard in the NBA. I've been told by sources inside the program that they think Luka can absolutely be a point guard. So in time, it may kind of morph into that a little bit, certainly in closing situations. But Kyan's still going to be on the ball a ton, a whole lot. and he's going to have to game manage. His value is going to be more how he game manages ahead of how many shots he hits. Because I don't envision a scenario where they need him to go off very often. There might be some games where Caleb's in foul trouble and Henry's getting locked down and Seth's kind of struggling a little bit where they need a guy who can just put the ball on the floor and get a basket for himself. Kyan can do that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So they'll have some of those games. But by and large, if you were to script how this team should play, it's not going to be with him being a high-volume scorer. It will be with him as a high-volume manager.
Yeah, and that's what this team needs is we've kind of alluded to there, I think, because it's not like you don't need him to give you 20 every night. You've got guys that are more than capable of doing that, and you've got scorers between, like you said, high-volume scorers like a Henry, like a Caleb, and like a Luka that can kind of do it for you. And again, you've got other guys across the board, including Kyan, who can put the ball in the basket too. And I'm glad you brought up Luka. That was the last thing I wanted to talk about because of the things we've heard, because I do agree that I think he can play that lead guard position and be pretty good at it. I mean, he's averaging, 3 assists on the season and less than, 1 turnover on the year. I think that kind of shows other sides of his game besides him just being a pretty good scorer. And we've seen it in glimpses this year too. I mean, he had a fantastic assist. I think it was the first half against Central, if I remember correctly. Either that or Radford to Henry Vasar. We just threaded a needle out of nowhere. And I was like, that's the assist of the season so far. And if that's just a glimpse of what he can do.
He's had a couple.
Yeah, where you're like, ooh, that was a big time pass. So you envision it too. Let's say Luka does end up playing the lead guard more throughout the season as we get deeper into it. Do you think he can play with a guy like Kyan, or do you think if he's playing the lead guard, Kyan's on the bench? Because I could see them playing maybe 1 and 2 together, especially with Seth being out.
I can see Kyan sliding to the 2.
Yeah, maybe they just
Kyan played off the ball. He played off the ball quite a bit last year. And he's very comfortable off the ball because he's a really good catch and shoot guy.
Mm-hmm. Got a pretty stroke. Really pretty stroke.
This team doesn't screen a ton for perimeter stuff. They don't set a lot of down screens and pop outs, but he's a guy you can set a down screen for and have him pop out. Mm-hmm. He's a catch and shoot guy. He's telling you, if you get to a game early, they open the doors 90 minutes beforehand. Get in there. If you're going to a game, get down to the court because the ushers will let you hang out right next to the court. Mm-hmm. Like not on the floor, but in the stands right there. Come down. The people that do, and they come down, they get to watch. And usually an hour and a half before the game, some of the players are still doing some individual work. Because then maybe 15 minutes later, they come out and they shoot around for about 10, 12 minutes, and then they start doing their stretching and all that stuff when Jonas starts getting them into the routine, and then they start going through drills and everything. It's that period when I walk in, media gets in 2 hours ahead of time. When I walk in, there's always somebody working on this team. Caleb, most of the time, is working on his game at the basket in front of Caroline's bench, which would be the visitors' basket in the first half. It's where they warm up. Caleb's always working on his game. A lot of the different players are working on their games. I didn't see it as much last year, and I'm not trying to throw shade on last year's team. I'm just drawing a correlation here. I did see it a couple years ago. I saw Cormac out there a lot, saw Harrison out there a lot, RJ a ton. RJ was always out there.
Yeah.
But this group, I've seen most of the rotation players at some point. I've walked in the arena now. They've played 4 home games and 1 exhibition game. So that's 5 times. I would say there's at least 3 guys getting in work. And then when it gets closer to full warm-ups, some of those guys go back in. They're usually often wearing something different and just like not even whatever their warm-ups are, or even their uniform. They go change, come back out. Watching Kyan was really fun. You could see, man, if that guy needs to take a bunch of shots, he's probably going to hit a lot of them because he's a very good shooter. But when he's in the game, his focus is a little bit different.
It is, yeah.
Because of what he's trying to learn how to do. Because the picture is connecting November. I know we're hitting the 20-minute mark here in a second.
It's all right.
Connecting November to March. What you see that looks a little uncomfortable at times in November is what you'll see that should look comfortable in March. You have to go through that falling off your bike period before you're running in the Tour de France. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of what we're looking at, but it's still been pretty good. He's not really falling off the bike. He's just kind of wobbling at times, or just maybe stops and looks around. It's not Joe Biden on a bike, right?
Still finding his way a little bit. Yeah.
He's not Joe Biden on a bike. Is that? Can I say that? It's not a political statement. It's just someone who fell off a bike. If Trump would ride a bike, I'm sure he'd fall off too, right?
Yeah, but I say, nothing to do with political affiliations.
He's not Andrew Jones on a bike. I would fall off and crack my head open. Blood would be spilled everywhere, and EMS would come and they'd stop. They'd say, "Oh, him? It's not worth our time."
When is the last time you rode a bike, AJ?
It would be in the 1980s.
I'm about to say I've heard you talk about going on a bike ride, but
it would be in the 1980s, probably the earlier end of the 1980s.
Before I was born, is what you're saying. Yeah, okay.
Before there were cell phones.
Yeah, God, that's a throwback right there.
Yeah, and I wasn't exactly breaking away, which is a great movie, by the way.
Yeah.
No,
you weren't BMXing out there or anything.
No, I did. One of my buddies had a moped, and I used to ride around that with him sometimes.
See a lot of mopeds on UNC's campus, man. I think the athletes get them for free. Yeah. I don't know if it's free, but you see a lot of athletes riding on mopeds, which is always a weird sight, especially.
This is back in the early moped days. My parents were like, "You're not allowed to go on Route 1 on his moped." And I'd be on Route 1 on the moped,
whipping that thing around, man.
Just go wherever.
Hey, if it gets you from point A to point B, man, whatever it takes, you know what I mean? That's all that matters at the end of the day. But
high school beer run on a moped? Are you kidding me?
That's fantastic. Well,
I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't say that.
This is all right. It's 80s. You can do whatever you want. Last thing I'll say about Kyan too, man, is I think the Paige thing is what a great person to learn from too. Because Marcus Paige, elite scorer at that point guard position, man. But he was a guy who also evolved into being just a absolutely fantastic leader and just floor general for the team. But Marcus Paige was always a guy that could put the ball in the basket like Kyan has been able to do at times, especially at Colorado State. So you talk about a guy to learn from who gets it, who understands the pressure that comes along with it, but who also, I think, some skill sets kind of match up a little bit there too. I mean, that's a fantastic guy to be like, "Hey man, can you go work out with me before this game just to show me the ropes and help me kind of get it simulated?" Because that's just a fantastic guy to have back there, man. I think that's great.
That's a great point. And that's a really good point. And I'm going to try to connect a few things here. Marcus was really good he'd get rid of the ball and the ball would find him again. He could score.
Yep.
And Kyan can do that. You go back to Marcus's game against NC State his sophomore year when was Marcus versus TJ Warren. That
was the game I was thinking about. Mm-hmm.
I'm not so sure that Kyan has a lot of that because we don't know what his gritty level is. Marcus, as Roy always said, he's tough little nut. And that was 1,000%. That was spot on. Mm-hmm. Marcus is a guy that would walk into a room and you'd think, okay, this guy could split the atom. He's really smart. But then he could also kick your butt.
Yeah, he's a dog.
He's tough. He's a dog. Mm-hmm. So I don't know where Kyan is in that realm. We'll find out. But I do think that's a really good point. There's some similarities. Marcus can teach him about that. You know, when you're a scorer and you're trying to be a point guard, you have to trust the fact the ball's going to find you again. You see a lot of teams where guys don't think that, or they don't want to rely on that. I thought last year's team was like that a lot. Mm-hmm. I'm not getting rid of it because I'm not going to get it back. Well, get rid of it. And if you run offense the right way, and I think this team should run freelance motion and nothing but that. Run a few sets, run a few actions, that kind of thing, but it should run freelance motion. If it did that, Kyan's going to get probably 50% of the touches off the ball as he gets on the ball, if you know what I mean. It's going to find him a ton.
Yeah. I think it's one of the strengths of this team is just the ball movement. I think the few games I've watched this year, the 4 games that we've watched, I feel like there's been a period every game where you're like, man, this team really moves the ball. It's very unselfish. And I need someone to go and count the amount of lobs this team is thrown to, because it feels like every game you get about 5 or 6 in there. But that just speaks to the ball movement, man. That speaks to guys getting the ball back. It's like if Kyan dishes it to somebody to run a set or something, or just run freelance, like I don't think he has to be concerned about getting the ball back because this team is so unselfish. So yeah, I mean, it's early. We're not trying to sit here and say Kion Evans is going to be the ACC, player of the year or anything like that. But I think 4 games in, there's a lot to like about what we've seen so far, in particular with his assist numbers, because that was one of the question marks we had coming into it.
He's in the connecting process. And by the way, I really want to see his team run freelance motion.
Yeah.
We've talked about the trust thing, and part of Hubert trusting more is seeing Kyan become better at managing, become more comfortable, more connected at managing. It's going to be Luka as well. But I think Luka, you just kind of got to let him go and do what he does. He'll figure it out. Jonathan Powell in a reserve role, they're going to need something. They're going to need to figure out exactly what he does and how he can help them. I don't think the corner 3 is his only go-to. I think there's
he
more.
He loves the corner 3. He loves a corner three.
If he's in the corner, man, it's going.
He goes in a lot.
Jonathan Powell gets the ball in the corner and box out.
Yeah.
Don't even look. Don't wait. Just box, find a man and put a rear end into him, box out.
Yeah.
But I do think freelance motion is the way to go. I've been told by sources very close to the situation that, look, Hubert, the next step for him is learn to trust his players more, which is a hard thing for coaches to do because they're all control freaks to some degree.
And trust goes both ways too. You know what I mean? You have to have a group.
I think the more he
trust.
In talking to these kids, they do trust him.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's genuine. Luca's trying to learn the terminology. He's trying to learn a little bit of a different approach. And we're going way past 20 minutes now, which is par for the course. I'm going to take some time here coming up. I'm going to look at the dunk numbers, look at the lob numbers, try to figure all that out. I also want to watch more film on Luca from the Adriatic League. How much trapping and pressing did they do in that league? So he's seeing some stuff defensively now, the constant changing of defenses he probably didn't see before. So basketball is basketball, but I think the landscape right now is very different on multiple levels because of where you're playing, the laundry that you're wearing, the laundry that's above you, and then trying to figure out your role on a very talented team after having been through what he's been through. And then you got this new terminology from a coach, a new style and approach from a coach. And you could see, like, when there's during timeouts, like Lucas just, his eyes are bugged out. He's peering in on Hubert. He's taking in every bit he can because he's here to maximize on the experience. So it's another reason it takes time. And Kyan can't fully be connected from a game management standpoint until Luca's more kind of fully meshed, until when Jonathan comes in off the bench, he's more fully meshed. So all this takes time. And I think that's the greatest thing we could say about this team. The best thing, the most optimistic thing that Carolina fans can take from this is that they're a long way from being whatever they're going to be.
Yeah.
And everything that they can be is all, to me, you could project forward, not backwards.
Yeah. Process. Still so early in the process, but I think there are a lot of positive things to like about this team, a lot of positive things to like about Kion Evans. It's going to be fascinating to see where this thing can go as we dive deeper into the season and obviously, ACC play and beyond. So I'm looking forward to it, man. It's been a fun team to cover so far. And I think as we've talked about numerous times already this season in 3 things or podcasts we've done during the week, there's a lot to like about this team, but let's see how it evolves because it's still so early in the season. Things can change. And I do think this team still has a long way to go to get to that full potential, but that's what you expect when you're only a few games in. So we'll see, man. But yeah, I think get involved in the comments. I'm interested to see what the fans have made of Evans's game, because I think overall there's been a lot of positive talk about him. But get your opinions in below. Like, do you like what you've seen? Have you been as surprised what his assist numbers have looked like so far? Do you think he still has an ability to put the ball in the basket at a higher clip? I think he does. But I'd like to just hear from you guys and see what you think, because again, he's just still so early in the process, like this entire team is. But all right, man, we've managed to go about 30 minutes, which 30.
Did you say 30?
Like 20
Did you say 30 was the goal?
I said 20 was the goal, so we have just.
Didn't you say 30 was the goal?
Yeah, true. Yeah, I said 30. Go back and
30,
look.
You said 30 was the goal. I didn't hear anything about 20.
Go look at the tape. Yeah, guys, go review that one. Do an instant replay on that.
It's like in the Roadhouse. I didn't see anything. You see anything? I didn't see anything.
I said 30. We're right on bar for 30 minutes. So good stuff for us. But all right, man.
By the way, I had a breaking away in Roadhouse reference in this pod.
You did, man.
And riding a bike in the 1980s.
Yeah, we didn't derail it too bad.
I'm channeling my inner Doris Kearns Goodwin with 1980s.
And I don't even know who that is. So.
You got to look her up. Does baseball.
I'll look her up. I'll check her out.
She's a political historian.
Okay. Like I said, the name kind of sounds familiar, but it probably
isn't. Walter Mondale. Well, in 1980, when Walter Mondale ran for president, or ran for vice president along with Jimmy Carter for re-election, 1976. So I always say it like that. My wife.
I don't know why. Yeah, I'm about to say I don't know why. Honestly, when you say 1980, it makes it sound older.
I do that for a reason, especially when
it works.
Especially when I'm making fun of myself.
It works. It does work. It makes it seem like it's even longer ago than it was, which is crazy.
1900. It makes it seem like, even though in real life everything's always been bright, you can see it, and there's been colors, and life has not been black and white, even though it seems like everybody lived in black and white until the middle of the Wizard of Oz and everything became color. There's another movie reference. You might think like 1984 with AJ riding a bike, like it's that squirrely lines on the video and stuff. That's what real life was like. No, it was actually color. It was clear. The hair wasn't so good. Some of the clothing sucked.
But you can say the same about today, man.
1984 was either incredibly awful or incredibly good. There was no in between. My wife and I have been watching one-hit wonders from the 80s lately just to have fun. There are times I just want to put a cannon in my mouth and just light it. The songs are so bad. Like, oh, and that reminds me of being angry when it came out.
Yeah.
Like Eddie Murphy, Party All Night or whatever. God, that just made me want to commit horrific crimes.
It's funny too. It's funny too because it's like the more things change, the more they stay the same. Because everything that you just said about the 80s of like some really bad clothing choices, just some horrible music, you could just say the same thing about 2025 and just be like, it's the same thing. Like like things have changed a lot since the 80s.
Music sucks today.
Yeah, music, and again, there was some crappy music back in the 80s too, as we all know.
Well,
music is definitely worse than it used to be. Let's get.
There's no doubt about it. Well, they're kind of running out of stuff, but there's a reason why a lot of successful acts from the 80s and 90s are touring and selling. I saw Tears for Fears in 21, 22, and 23 in Charlotte and Raleigh, and they sold out. They had 18,000 people. They're really good. They're really good, and the cross section, like my daughter actually likes them. The cross section is pretty cool because it's legitimately, genuinely good music. Yeah. But even the novelty acts, like there's those bands that are takeoffs of bands. And there's like a Led Zeppelin band that's not Led Zeppelin.
Like, the cover bands or whatever.
Cover bands, and they do great. They fill 5,000 seat venues. Yeah. People are going to see that, not whatever slop's coming out now.
No, you're right. It's not.
I know, I'm sounding like the ultimate
you're not wrong,
old man from the 1900s and whatevers.
I like older music. I mean, I really do not find myself listening. I do listen to some newer music. I used to be a big rap fan, and I just can't even get into the new rap. If I'm listening to any rap, it's from when I was in like high school or something like that, which is 15 years ago at this point. So yeah, it's not. They don't make it like they used to. AJ, now I'm sounding like an old man over here sitting over here. Back in my day, 15 years ago,
I have embraced that lately.
I think you should.
I'm kind of like that guy. I'm very comfortable calling myself a boomer. Yeah. I'm really comfortable with that because I'm like the OG now. And unless Bob Holliday shows up, I guess Bob Sutton, I think Bob's older than me.
I think Bob is, yeah.
Friedlander showed up the other night.
I just saw that. I heard him in asking a question.
I put out a silver alert because he walked into the press room. And I'm like, this old guy's lost. Silver alert. Someone needs to get him home.
I had to double take because I was listening to the press conference. I'm like, is that Brett Friedlander?
Yes, there he was
just tweeting up a storm 5 minutes ago. I didn't know he was at the damn game.
Bingo has been called.
Yeah, I haven't seen one of those in a while. I need to go look at his Twitter.
I'm the OG. I'm the boomer. It's kind of weird because it just seems like the other day I'm looking up to Barry Jacobs and Bill Cole and Al Featherston and Lennox Rawlings and Carlton Tudor and these guys that were like my heroes I looked up to, and they're gone.
Now
I'm like this old guy.
Yeah, now you're their age when you were looking. Yeah, now the roles reversed. Yeah,
that's
time flies, man. Time flies, man. Yeah, it flies,
man. Time does not stop.
No, it does.
Time is a beautiful thing, and it's also cruel.
Yeah, it is. And I feel like I've heard people say this, and I just turned 30, so I'm not old. But when you're 18 and you think 30, you're like, oh my fucking God, I'm gonna be in a grave by then. But I just turned 30, and people have always said like the older you get, the quicker the days go by, and I can relate. It's like way too fast. Like I feel like the TCU game. I was thinking about this last night. I feel like the TCU football game was 6 years ago, and also a week ago at the same time. Like I have this football season is just flown by, but also not flown by at the same time. I can't quite wrap my head around it.
It was 6 months ago, and 5 minutes ago I was talking to Chip Patterson in the press box.
Yes,
at that game.
Yeah.
You're right about the days. I mean, I've reached a point in my life, and I mean this sincerely. Like if I was saying it yesterday in the press box in Wake, I told, I think, Grant and maybe Noah, young guys who will figure it out one day, that I really wish if I were king, I would make time every day be 30 hours.
Yeah.
I would try to figure out a way to stop the sun, slow the sun's rotation a little bit, go 6 more hours a day.
Yeah.
Then I might be able to get all my stuff done. Then I might actually be able to watch other stuff too. So get my steps in without stressing. I get them in every day anyway.
Yeah, you do. You do need to go get your steps
Some
in.
days do go by faster. I jokingly say this, but somewhat true. I wake up every day just to make it to the end of the day.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
With
Tread water all day. Just tread water.
And then you hope, I'm at that age now, you kind of hope, okay, when I go to sleep, hopefully I wake up tomorrow.
Yeah, hopefully I get up the next day. I know what you mean on that.
I guess I'm not that old yet, but.
No, you're not. You're not. In the grand scheme of things, you're really
Our
not.
staff is so young.
I know. Hell, I'm the second oldest people on this. I guess I'm the second oldest. Well, besides Kevin, honestly, but
Kevin
but
Roy.
In terms of
David Sisk.
Yeah, I forgot about David. You're right.
David and I are the same age. Kevin Roy is a couple years younger. And then there's a massive drop off. There's you. And then Noah's 22. Jarvis is 21. Ellie's 21. Riken's 20, I think.
Yeah.
They're interns. Seth doing football recruiting. Seth's around 30, maybe.
Yeah, I think he's close to my age. I think maybe
close
a little bit younger.
I think. Kevin Ryan, who oversees stuff. Kevin's about my age.
Mm-hmm.
I like it.
Got a nice mix. It's a healthy mix.
It is a healthy mix. And I'm going to show the young bucks how to grind.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm going to show that you don't ever put the shovel down entirely.
Nah, man. You got to keep on digging.
Do it the right way. Keep that shovel. Keep digging. And discernment. I have used the word discernment so much in the last few months. I did with you when you started.
100%. It's
especially with all the stuff going on with football and everything. You got to use tremendous discernment.
Yeah.
On so many levels about so many different things.
100%. There's no doubt about it. So you don't have to report every single little. You don't got to run to Twitter for every little single thing you witness.
If we were to have a motto for our staff, maybe I should make up T-shirts to say the word discernment.
Yeah, discernment. I mean, not a bad idea, honestly. I don't know how you spell that, but we can ask Google. That's for sure. All right, man. We've gone 40 minutes. We got to get
between all of us, seeing that we're all either journalists or budding journalists, we should be able to figure out how to spell the word.
We should probably. We'll figure it out. I'm going to go. I consider myself a pretty good speller too, and I need to sit here and think for a second how to spell discernment. I consider myself a pretty good speller.
As long as there's no red squiggly line underneath it when you type it in
then
Word.
You're good. Yeah, you're right. You're right. That's the only thing you got to look out for in today's world with these computers, man. But all right. 40 minutes is the new 20 for us. So we might as well have went 20, even though I did actually say 30, even though you guys heard 20. I said 30. It just sounded like 20. I had a little bit of a mess up right there. But
it's like my wife when she buys things on Amazon.
Yeah. She's like, I didn't mean to click. I meant to hit add to cart. I didn't mean to hit buy now.
You told me not to spend more than 200. I thought you meant 500.
Yeah. I thought my bad. I thought you said 500. Yeah, it's just a simple mistake.
You just said 500 and you spent 600.
Yeah, exactly. So you went over the threshold that was already double the amount you were supposed to go over. Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah, that's how life works.
The red bat phone, from Batman. Mm-hmm. My wife has one of those to Amazon, basically.
AJ, hey, to be fair, you can't take it with you. You know, when your time comes, the money doesn't matter. So you might as well just spend it, right? Is that kind of how we're living?
I would like for when the money knocks on the door and comes in, I'd like for it to sit down and have a cup of coffee.
Yeah. Stay a while, take its shoes off.
Come in the front door and race through the back door.
It doesn't even take its shoes off, man. It doesn't leave its shoes at the front door. It doesn't stay a while. It keeps the shoes on.
Hey, see ya. Bye.
Yeah, you're like, all right, man.
There goes $1,000.
See you later. Yeah, who needs it, man? You don't even need it anyway, right? What's money have to do with anything? It's not like it. You don't need money in this world. It's got nothing to do with it.
Except when when your tire goes flat right before a Belichick press conference, and then the next day you need a new battery. I had tires, batteries, some other thing, and then the whole oil filter changed this past week. It was a lot of stuff on the car.
I get it, man. I'm whipping a rental car around now because my car got hit it wasn't my fault, thank God, a couple weeks ago. So I'm going to have that for another few weeks. But, I'm racking up the miles. Put the miles on the rental, man. I don't even hate it too much, especially if it's when I'm not paying for it. You know what I mean? So glass half full kind of mentality. You know what I mean? All right. We're getting out of here officially now.
In other words, don't rent a car to Jacob.
Yeah, pretty much. He's been Andrew Jones. Appreciate y'all watching as always, guys. And we will see y'all. Like, share, subscribe. See y'all next time. Thanks.